Hello, hello. Okay, we're going to talk about conditional statements. We talked about this briefly when we did the vocab for the chapter. Okay, so conditional statement is basically an if-then statement. If you study hard, then you will do well in school. If you bribe me well, then you will get an A in math. Kidding. Okay, so a conditional statement is written if A, then B. The stuff that comes after the if is the hypothesis. The stuff that comes after the then is the conclusion. Okay, if M is even, then M plus 1 is odd. Okay, the hypothesis is M is even. They say if, you don't need the word if. The conclusion is M plus 1 is odd. Okay, we good? We good. Yep, baseball death. Oh, okay. Okay, now, this is where it gets a little tricky, but that's okay, we'll do it together. For a conditional statement to be true, the statement has to always be true. Remember we talked about counterexamples? If there's a counterexample, bye-bye. Okay, so, if it is a kitten, then it is a cat is true. Pretty much true all the time. But the other way, if it's a cat, then it's a kitten. Not true. Could be an adult cat, could be a tiger. Okay? The order of the hypothesis and conclusion are very important because switching them changes the meaning of the statement. If it's a carrot, then it's a vegetable. Yes. If it's a vegetable, then it's a carrot. Nope. What about green beans? I love green beans. All right, so a conditional statement is written as an if-then. Not always written that way formally. Sometimes you have to sometimes you have to sneak it out yourself and figure it out. Okay? Oh my God, okay. Sorry for all the jumping. Okay, so a statement, all mammals have warm blood. To make that into an if-then, if it is a mammal, then it has warm blood. Okay? If two lines are parallel or more, then they never intersect. Okay, that's if-then. Okay? If you have any questions, write them down. Use the diagram to determine whether each statement is true or false, and then rewrite it as a conditional. The figure is a triangle. That's true, yes? All of its angles are right angles. Nope, 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 nope. Its angles sum to 180 is true. All right, now what do we see here? We see a right triangle. We see its 3 sides. So if a figure has 3 sides, then it is a triangle. Does that make sense? And you may have a different statement. That's fine. If it has exactly 3 sides, then it is a triangle. I'm going to make that smaller because you can see this from outer space. Okay, so that's for part A. We made it an if-then statement. Okay, so that's for part A. Okay, now part B is not true, so we're not going to rewrite that. Okay, now part C. If it is a triangle, then its angles sum to 180 degrees. Okay? And if all its angles are right angles, it's certainly not a triangle, because a triangle has 3 angles. You can't have 3 90-degree angles in a triangle. It'd be too many. Okay? Moving right along. Okay, applying conditional statements. All right. For true conditionals, if the hypothesis is true, the conclusion must be true. If the hypothesis is false, the conclusion may be true or false, and it could still be true. Okay? If I am 6'2", then I'm not overweight. Okay? Or, let me think of a better one. If it is raining outside, then I won't need an umbrella. Okay? It might be raining outside, but I would need an umbrella. Okay? Or it might not be raining outside, then I won't need an umbrella. So if it is raining outside, could be true or false, then I'll need an umbrella, or then I won't need an umbrella, could be true or false. And you're going to see truth tables a little bit. Okay? Now, a new term that we talked about a little bit yesterday, or the day before. A negation is the opposite. Okay? So for a negation, if the word not is not in there, put it in. If it is in there, take it out. Okay? So if you are taking a nap, then you are sleeping. Okay? The negation is if you are not taking a nap, then you are not sleeping. May or may not be true. Okay, then we have the converse. Okay, so we have the negation, the inverse, the converse, and the contrapositive, which we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes. Okay, so we have the converse, where the if and the then, basically, the stuff that comes after them, switches places. I think of that as converse sneakers, switch your sneakers. So the converse, you switch your sneakers. The inverse, again, is the negation of both pieces. So if the word not is not in there, put it in both places. If it is in there, take it out. If it's in one and not the other, whatever you do, do the opposite. Okay? Then the contrapositive, you should do both. You switch your sneakers and you not. Okay? And I'll go over that more. Okay, sometimes if you change a conditional, it changes the truth value. Okay, conditional. If a number is to the left of the origin, then it is negative. That's true. If a number is negative, then it is to the left of the origin is true, but it could also be below. Correct? Okay. Let me move this out of the way. Get up there. Okay? So as a biconditional, a number is negative if and only if it is to the left of the origin on a graph. Yeah, but it could be below as well. Okay, so I would play with that one, but that's just me. Okay, write the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of the conditional statement. If you are a professional soccer player, then you are an athlete. Okay, so the converse, switch your sneakers. Okay, it's going to come out big, but I'll make it smaller. If you are an athlete, then you play soccer. Now notice that changed the truth. Okay, what if you play baseball only? What if you're a bowler? What if you're a competitive swimmer or a gymnast? Okay, then you're still an athlete, but don't necessarily play soccer. Right. Glad you see it my way. Okay, so the inverse, remember, inverse is the opposite. Okay? Oh, by the way, this is not necessarily true. Okay? The inverse, if the word not is not in there, put it in. If you are not a professional soccer player, then you are not an athlete. Again, you could be a bowler, you could be a tennis player, you could be a javelin thrower, It could be whatever you want. Right. Okay, so that's the inverse. Notice the word not was not in there before. We stuck it in. Okay, and then the contrapositive is like a marriage of both. They're getting married. Okay, the contrapositive is basically, hang on, I'm moving stuff around. Bear with me. The contrapositive is basically, and then we're going to pause after this, as soon as I can type. Hold that thought, hold that thought, hold that thought. OMG, okay. If you are not an athlete, then you are not a professional soccer player. Okay, you see how that happened there? Here's our original statement right here, original statement. Okay, here's our converse, switch our sneakers. Here's our inverse of the original, not. Here's a marriage of both of them. Okay, I'm going to pause now and probably go to another video.